You guys, it's obvious to almost everybody who is an NBA fan that the NBA in itself is relatively a 24/7, 365 days a year type of league, where regardless of what time of the year it is, you're always going to be hearing something about some type of breaking news, some type of roster move, etc. But it's also relatively known that if there was a specific point in time throughout the year where you won't be hearing much to anything about the NBA, it would definitely be this month before the preseason and the regular season finally get kicked off, acting sort of as the calm before the storm. But there has been one team in particular that is ignoring this unwritten rule over the last couple of weeks, has been making their own moves left and right, and you know, honestly, with everything they have done, I couldn't go without discussing it. As you've probably guessed it or read the title of the video, yes, we're talking about the Denver Nuggets. Because again, even though this team is making headlines, I feel there is so many people that are just blowing by everything they've done and not talking about it to the extent that they should. And in my opinion, there is a lot about this Denver Nuggets team that I feel the general NBA fan needs to understand before we get into the 2022 season. One sec, if you guys haven't yet, don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy, subscribe, and turn on those noties to never miss another NBA video here. Love you guys. And if you guys are regulars around here and haven't done so yet, I'm highly encouraging you to do so, because according to the numbers, around 98% of you guys coming back to watch this content haven't hit the button yet. We're so close to 10K subs on the channel. I appreciate you guys more than anything, so thank you. But let's get back to the Denver Nuggets. Now, if some of you guys here have no idea what I'm talking about in terms of the Denver Nuggets making some big moves, let me be the first person to tell you that they have reached two massive contract extensions over the course of the last couple of weeks by re-signing recently acquired Aaron Gordon to a 4-year, $92 million extension. And on top of this, the big move made by Denver that really shook up the NBA world, giving the young prodigy Michael Porter Jr. a 5-year extension worth $207 million. Now, to go back on Aaron Gordon's deal, I think it's safe to say that this one didn't surprise too many people around the league, because in all honesty, this is a very solid extension for the Denver Nuggets. He was just coming off of a 4-year, $80 million deal with Orlando. With the role he has on this Nuggets team and the impact he makes out there on the court, this was definitely a great signing for Denver, to say the very least. But the move that had the NBA world split down the middle in terms of whether it was good or horribly wrong was obviously the 23-year-old Michael Porter Jr. earning himself over $40 million a year over the next 5 seasons. And don't get me wrong, I can definitely see how some people are on the fence about this extension, especially with MPJ only having 2 full NBA seasons under his belt. I think it can very confidently be said that without Michael Porter Jr.'s insane uprise after Jamal Murray's injury last season, this kind of extension would have never happened, at least this year. Because if you do look at the stats, you can see that last season overall, Michael Porter Jr. put up averages of around 19.7 rebounds and an assist per game, while also shooting an immensely impressive 54% from the field, 44.5% from 3, and a 65% efficient field goal percentage. But let's just take a minute and refocus on the 11-game span for Michael Porter Jr. after Jamal Murray went down with his injury. As in this span, with obviously taking on an increased role, Michael Porter Jr. was able to put up averages of 25 points and 6.5 rebounds per game, while having even more insane shooting splits from the field, shooting 57% from the field overall and almost 50% from 3. And I know it's just an 11-game span, but I really do feel like this run put it into the minds of the Denver Nuggets of what MPJ's ceiling really could be throughout the course of his career. And with this, it's clear that MPJ is going to be rocking a Denver Nuggets uniform for at least the next 5 years, barring a trade. But it can definitely also be said that this isn't the first time the Denver Nuggets have seen some backlash to an extension of one of their drafted players. As I'm sure some of you can probably remember, in the 2018 season, the Denver Nuggets signed Nikola Jokic to a 5-year extension worth around $148 million. And believe me, for a mid-second round pick to be getting this type of money while averaging 18.5 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists per game, it can be said that some people around the NBA were satisfied with this type of extension, but others were in absolute dismay when they saw this. And what do you know, this man went on to win the 2021 NBA MVP, putting up averages now of 26.5 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 dimes per game. And it's not just this, because I'm sure some of you can also remember the 2019 offseason when Jamal Murray received a 5-year extension worth $170 million. Once again, as you can guess, many people around the league said this was a massive overpay and Jamal Murray would not live up to this kind of money, only for this kind of talk to be followed up by an absolutely historical bubble performance from Jamal Murray. And on top of this, a very solid 2021 season as well before going down to injury. So yeah, I guess you can say what you will about the Denver Nuggets and their front office moves, but But I'm personally thinking they have very little worries right now after throwing this kind of money at MPJ for the foreseeable future. And just to give you guys an interesting fact, the Denver Nuggets are actually the 4th team going forward that have 3 max contracts on their roster. Out of all 4 of those teams, in the Los Angeles Lakers, the Brooklyn Nets, the Golden State Warriors, and of course the Denver Nuggets, they are actually the only team that has drafted all 3 of the players that possess these max deals. I know it doesn't mean much, you guys, but it just speaks even more to the kind of tradition and the front office moves of the Denver Nuggets. And on top of this, immediately after the Denver Nuggets made these extensions, people, as always, were very quick to run to social media saying how this isn't going to be enough to win an NBA championship, so what's the point of throwing this money around? And to be fair and speak my mind, who's to say this team doesn't have enough talent to win the championship this year, and not even just that, over the next couple of years with the players they've locked in? Because I definitely know everybody remembers after last year when the Denver Nuggets acquired Aaron Gordon via trade mid-season, was more obvious than ever before that they were going all in on trying to pursue an NBA championship. Then of course, as I've mentioned multiple times in this video, their star point guard Jamal Murray went down for the remainder of the year, never allowing us to really see what the full potential of this Denver Nuggets team could really be. And another thing that I think so many people forget really quickly is that this Denver Nuggets team has been a top 3 seed in the loaded Western Conference in each of the last 3 seasons. And along with this impressive accomplishment, they are also the only team that has been able to do so. And with them returning a big part of the young core of their roster that is only going to improve as years go on, it's very clear to say that in my eyes, this team is just getting started and yet is still one of the more slept on teams around the entire league. So hey, maybe it's best we keep it that way and let the Denver Nuggets game do the talking as the 2021-22 season begins shortly. But also, you guys, after getting into this discussion about the Denver Nuggets and what they have been able to do recently, as always, I'm really curious to hear what you have to think about this Nuggets team going forward, and if you thought these were the right moves for the franchise to make. So with this, I want you to let me know in the comments down below what you think the Denver Nuggets record will be at the end of the next season, and on top of this, could you see the Nuggets winning a championship over the span of the next 5 years? I feel like so many people around the NBA world are split on this discussion about the Denver Nuggets, so I really want to hear what you guys have to say and have some conversations with you. But on that note, also, if you guys haven't yet, again, don't forget to like the video if you did enjoy, and subscribe while you're down there if you want to get your daily dose of NBA content, especially with the season less than a month away. Also, you guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to go check out and subscribe to my second channel as well, where as the new NBA season begins, I think I'm going to be doing a lot more casual NBA conversation and videos over there. So if you want to check it out, by all means, don't be afraid to do so. Once again, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate y'all more than anything in the entire world. You all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.